What's going on YouTube? Ronin Frog 87 here, guys, and today I wanted to talk about the fact that Monarch decks are finally a tier 1 deck. They're finally meta relevant. Well, at least in the OCG they are, because here in the TCG they still really aren't. They still really can't compete with all like the faster decks of the meta. But at least in the OCG they are, thanks in large part to Structure Deck R, Advent of the Legendary Monarch, which just came out in Japan in the OCG territories. Well, I think Japan, because I think Korea still has yet to get it. Well, anyways, here looking on the organization, you see that Performer Mages and Pals are like still the top deck, and Burning Abyss, with all like their triple tour guide and Beatrice goodness, are also a top deck over there. But another top deck right here is Monarch, and yeah, I mean, you see here like it basically uses a lot of the cards from the freaking new Structure Deck, and you see that there's no like original Monarchs in here. Well, there are other builds that will like Tekken Kaises and like occur as here and there, but for the most part, the better, like the more playable Monarch decks don't really include the OG Monarchs. They include just most of the new stuff, along with Majesty's Fiends and Vanity's Fiends, for the extra stun component to keep your opponent from special summoning from the extra deck. And for more of a visualization, here's the deck. It has like triple of the Eidos and Netherworld Knight, and the Heaven and Idea the Heaven Knight, which are like just the perfect freaking tribute fodder. Ever since like Monarchs have lost their competitive luster, people have been searching for ways to like have like just some great tribute fodder. There's been things like Battle Faders and Frogs. There was Frog Monarch and things like that. But ever since that, ever since like Frog Monarch kind of fell off, people have been trying to find like a better tribute fodder. There's been Ghost Tricks and things like that, but they haven't really been too competitive. But now these two little guys right here are like the perfect like freaking tribute fodder. And for those of you who do not know what they do, let's start with Idea here. If this card is if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can special summon one monster with 800 attack and defense, which is going to be this guy right here. And so from your deck, except Idea the Heaven Knight. Also, you cannot special summon from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Monarch spell trap cards added to your hand. You can only use the effect of Idea the Heaven Knight once per turn. So like, yeah, you can get him, and once you get him, if this card is normal summon or special summon, so once you special summon him off of Idea, it says during your main phase this turn you can tribute summon one monster in addition to your normal summon or set. So you go normal summon Idea, special summon this, and then you tribute one of them for Vanities or Majesties or this guy right here. And also his other effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense in your graveyard, except Eidos the Netherworld Knight. Special summon it in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. You can only use the effect of Eidos the Netherworld per turn. So you see, guys, perfect tribute fodder. I mean, if you don't like go into your extra deck a lot, these two guys are just like the perfect tribute fodder. Like I like the best tribute fodder since freaking like the days of Perfect Circle and stuff, and when Frog Monarchs were dominant. And of course, we have this big guy right here, the only Monarch in the deck, if you don't count Majesty's Fiend and Vanity's Fiend, who are like by this time are de facto Monarchs basically. And if you guys do not know what he does, he's Erebus, the Netherworld Monarch. You can tribute summon this card by tributing one tribute summoned monster. If this card is tribute summoned, you can send two Monarch spell trap cards with different names from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. And if you do, shuffle one card from your opponent's hand at random, field or graveyard into the deck. Wow, that's like a Rise on crack. Once per turn during either player's main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard one Monarch spell trap card, then target one monster in your graveyard with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense added to your hand. So basically, you can be adding Majesty's Fiend because Vanity's Fiend's defense is 1200, so it doesn't make the cut. So yeah, just some powerful effects. And of course, what makes the deck work even most is like the Dominion of the Legendary Monarch, which like adds another stun component for element to your deck. So basically, if you control a tribute summon monster and you have this on your field and you have no monsters in your extra deck or something like that, your opponent can't special summon monsters from the extra deck. So basically locking out a ton of decks like Burning Abyss and Shaddolls and things like that. And of course, I think the card that makes this deck work the absolute most is like one of, I don't want to say it's broken, but it's borderline broken. It's like a D-draw on crack, and that's right here, Pantheism of the Monarchs, or as some people call it, they're calling it here, Pandeity of the Monarchs. But for those of you who do not know what that word means, Pantheism is like that you believe everything's a god, or like, Pantheism is like it's like paganism, where like there's multiple gods and things like that. So yeah, which is interesting because like so I guess he's like the god of the monarchs. I mean, he is another world monarch, and you see here, right here, the dominion of the legendary monarch. All the other monarchs, like all the OG monarchs, are like bowing down to him. Well, anyways, enough of that. Let's get on to the effect. It says send one monarch spell trap card from your hand to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Reveal 3 monarch spell trap cards from your deck. Have your opponent add one of them to your hand. Also shuffle the rest back into your deck. You can only use this effect of Pantheism Monarchs once per turn. So that, yeah, guys. So basically, it's like a D-draw on crack. You can activate more than once per turn. You know how a lot of like D-draw like cards have the stipulation where you can only activate one of these per turn. Nope, you can activate multiple of these per turn. Draw your 2 cards, and the effect that you can only activate once per turn is like you banish it. You look at 3 you pick 3 monarch cards, spell or trap cards. You show them to your opponent. Your opponent picks one of them. So that's a +1 there, and that just adds like a lot of speed and like interesting combos to the deck. And wow, guys, I'm really I'm not looking forward to a lot of like broken decks or like a lot of like tier 1 decks from the OCG making their way here to the TCG. But this one I definitely am, because I'm such a huge fan of monarchs. And it's gonna be a while till this gets here to the TCG, because we just got the Synchron deck, and that came out December of last year in the OCG, and we're just barely getting it now here in the TCG. And also we still have I think the Performapal structured pendulum deck to go here so that's probably gonna come out in February, and I'm predicting that this is gonna come out like either June or July of next year, or maybe next August. So yeah, so basically we almost have to wait a year for this. I'm predicting that we are. And so yeah, guys, oh yeah, one little note is that these guys work in conjunction with the vassals, but this deck does not need the vassals at all. These guys are just way too good on their own. You don't need the vassals whatsoever at all, and you really don't need any of the other monarchs as well. But you could tech them in. I've seen some decks where they tech in Kaiases and Kurazes. For the most part, you don't. And so yeah, guys, other than that, monarchs, welcome back to being competitive, well, at least in the OCG. And hopefully we'll get this deck sometime soon, but I'm not betting on it. Like I said, we're probably gonna have to wait like 8 to 9 months for this, and who knows how the meta is gonna change by then. Well, alright, guys, so that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys glad to see that at least monarchs, an old school favorite, are now topping in the OCG? That they're at least topping somewhere, even if it's not here in the TCG. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I am Ronin Frog 87, bidding you farewell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.